Hello everybody and welcome to the channel. My name is Plami, and in this episode of Plami's Thought Zone, I'm gonna be sharing my thoughts on the second episode of the 7th season of The Flash, called The Speed of Thought. And I gotta say, this power could have been useful against the Thinker, and also why doesn't Barry have that in the first place? It doesn't make sense why he doesn't have that. His powers are very complicated on this show, I gotta say. But yeah, there's quite a lot to talk about for this episode. This one wasn't as jokey and fun, which was fine by me because looking back on the first episode, there's not really much going for it outside of the jokes that we have and emotional stuff at the end. While this episode, episode 2, was badass as hell in so many ways, and I really can't wait to get into it. But first of all, since this episode was about Barry's power for speed thinking, I do want to talk about a few things that I have a problem with Barry's powers on the show in general. Because when I got into this show back in like the early 3 seasons, at first I thought that Barry simply could run fast. I didn't know that there was such a thing like the Speed Force and that it was a multi-dimensional being. And I thought that his power was specifically running fast or moving fast. Maybe by extension, which would mean that he can get up fast, he can walk, he can run fast, but it wasn't like him actually slowing down time. Because I feel like after he came out of the Speed Force in season 4, his powers kind of went out of whack, where the writers didn't really give a shit to be consistent about his superpowers, and just came up with whatever superpower they felt would have been fine for the next episode, you know? I feel like there was more consistency about his powers in the first 3 seasons. Like, sure, he can run fast, but it's not like he's slowing down time the way he was slowing it down in, like, Flash time. I never thought that his powers worked like that, which is why, even though that episode is really good, it kind of ruins the show for me in a lot of ways, but still, it's just that his powers, for me personally, with him, the idea being of him running fast, I never thought that his perception is fast. But if his perception is fast, as we've seen in Flash time, that is essentially speed thinking. It's literally what his speed thinking should be. He shouldn't be able to be attacked anytime he's fighting anybody. Well, in this episode today, it's not that they gave him speed thinking. I feel like they gave him more of like enhanced cognitive abilities, I guess. But enhanced cognitive abilities, it's not the same thing as speed thinking. So, I don't know, I feel like they kind of said one thing, but they did another. I don't know. It bothers me a little bit, honestly, because this is essentially the same thing that the Thinker was doing with his head. He was able to think fast, compared to Barry's running fast or moving fast or whatever you want to call it back in season 4. But I don't know, with Barry, I don't understand how his powers would give him the ability for his brain to be able to run freaking simulations. I don't understand that. I don't buy it. I understand enhanced perception and speed perception, but I don't buy that his speed would give him the ability to run simulations in his head. So yeah, gotten that out of the way, this episode, it was really cool to see Caitlin and Cisco back after we didn't have them for the death of another Wells last episode, but I guess it's fine considering the ending of this episode. So yeah, I really enjoyed Cisco in this episode. He is definitely my favorite character in The Flash as a whole, and it's a shame that either his actor doesn't want to be on the show that much, the showrunners or the CW isn't really willing to pay him to be in every single episodes. I don't know what's the reason for him not being in that many episodes, and Caitlin as well last season, but I don't want to lose him. I want him to be on the show, because if he drops, I don't really think I would really give a shit enough to keep watching. Because, like, yeah, I enjoyed the first episode of this season, which was without Caitlyn and Cisco. And Allegro is likable enough, but I'm not really a big fan of Chester. He's a little too much for me, but I don't really hate him as much as other people do either, so I can tolerate them, like, they're fine for an episode, but good old Caitlyn and Cisco are always better than those. But yeah, I like seeing Cisco back and all the techno battle he spews and all the jokes and everything. It was really fun. And it was also really entertaining to see Barry in this episode be so OP, which was meant that it was very obvious that by the end of the episode he was going to lose the powers in some way, shape or form, because the writers would be writing themselves into a corner otherwise, because they wouldn't be able to keep up and create situations in which he would have to be outsmarted in some way, because it wouldn't be realistic for him to get jumped on with him being able to predict everything, you know? But it did lead to a really cool battle sequence, which I'm gonna get into in a bit, but the main thing in this episode that the episode was about, I guess, is Barry losing his emotions due to the speed thinking, because for some reason his speed thinking made him, I guess, super rational, or I guess they explained it that because Thorn's negative speed force was based on his hate and anger, they made Barry's speed force neutral. So essentially he became a lawful neutral or lawful evil kind of character, instead of his chaotic good, I guess. I mean, I'm not really good at putting the characters in those categories, but they definitely changed his categorization as a character from somebody with a heart who helps everybody and will do everything to help everybody, to somebody who do the most pragmatic thing possible. And honestly, I very much disagree with his decision to reveal Mirror Mistress's secret to everybody, that she is apparently the mirror clone, even though I don't think that's what the video that we see of her hitting the mirror shows. Even in the first episode, when we saw it, it's not what happens. I feel like the show is telling us that that's what happens, but that's not what I'm seeing. Because when you see her flying towards the mirror, her body is in a certain shape. Then she hits the mirror, and there's like 3 bodies. You can see 3 bodies. One is the one that is in the real world. One is one that I think was sent through the mirror because it continued in the exact same trajectory that her body was flying before it hit the mirror. And there's the reflection of the body which is in the real world. But the thing is, when the body in the real world hits the mirror, it falls in a weird way. It falls almost like it was coming out of the mirror, not hitting it and bouncing off. I don't know. So I feel like the Mirror Mistress version that we have right now is actually the real one, but maybe in the body of the mirror version. I don't know. That's my theory, because I feel like if they just make her the duplicate, it's too simple of a story. It's too simple of a twist to have for the character. So I'm hoping that for the final episode of what was supposed to be the last season, aka episode 3 of season 7, they're actually gonna twist it again and reveal that she's not the mirror duplicate. Because I feel like that's too simple of a twist. It's so easy to come up with that. It can be that. Where was I going before I talked about the Mirror Mistress? Yeah. I'm not really okay with the way Barry revealed her secret. I guess I agree with his idea of why he did it. Like, I guess I agree with the reason why he did it, because now she is going to be very emotional and irrational and she's gonna make mistakes which would allow them to stop her. But he also angered her and made her unpredictable, which was kind of the point the episode was trying to make, that emotions are unpredictable. So that kind of is going to end up biting them in the ass in the next episode, as we've seen by the teasers for it. But yeah, it really showed how evil Barry could be, because with the Barry that we've had so far, it's not only important that we win, it's important that we win in the right way against the bad guys and not fall to their level, you know? And I'm glad that the other characters also called him out on it. It was really interesting. Afterwards, I really liked the twist where they actually had the characters vote for whether to save Iris or Singh and Camilla, because due to Techno Bubble, the only way they can only save either Iris or Camilla and Singh. And I'm pretty sure they're gonna probably figure out a way to get them out in the next episode, but obviously we have to create tension, so it was interesting to see that fake out with them voting to save Camilla and Singh and Barry voting to save Iris, even though at that point Barry was pretty much without all of his emotions, so why was he willing to save Iris? At that point I wasn't really sure. It's in the next scene where we revealed that what we were shown was a fake out, a simulation that Barry was running in his head, that I realized that he was wanting to save Iris not because he loves her, because this emotionless Barry doesn't, but because she has more information about Ava, which would allow them to stop her. And honestly, right here comes one of the best sequences in The Flash that we've ever had. It was really cool how at first you thought like Cisco was going to shoot Barry with the gun, Caitlin was going to freeze him, and Allegra was going to use her powers, which, by the way, it was really cute to see her wearing Nash's suit, because that's been her relationship this season with Nash. And again, I've not really watched it sixth season too much, so I haven't personally experienced that relationship between them, but it was pretty cool to see, and her wearing his outfit as in memory of him. So that was really cool. But I definitely did not expect them to have Killer Frost inject herself with Velocity X. That was something else. That was so fucking cool. It was so fucking cool having her be a speedster and run around and use her freezing powers at the same time. It's one of the best sequences the Flash has ever done. I love that. And that blew me away because it came out of nowhere. I did not expect it at all. Although I was spoiled about something cool supposedly happening in this episode, but considering the fight that we had earlier between Caitlin and Ava, I thought that somebody was maybe mocking how good of a fight that was supposed to be, because it was kind of shit if you ask me. But no, it was actually a really, really fucking cool sequence. And in the following scene, once they defeat Barry in that moment, it was really cool and really showed the power of a, I don't know, emotionless and speed-thinking speedster could have over everybody else, because he tells them that they lost the fight before they even began because of the ball that he threw in the beginning of the fight. That was so badass, because nothing that they did mattered. The fact that Killer Frost injected herself with the Velocity X didn't matter. They lost the fight before it even began. That was really, really badass. I really love that. Then we have Iris being put out of the mirror world, and for some reason not really fainting because she was brought back the wrong way or something. I have no idea why she did that, but it's what brought Barry out of his emotionless state, and obviously, as Barry frequently does, irrationally destroys the Speed Force, even though he probably should have just turned it off. There's a feedback loop and he explodes in lightning, blue lightning, which is interesting because why the hell would there be blue lightning? I wonder if there's some connection to the Velocity X that Killer Frost shot at him. Maybe. I mean, it doesn't make sense that that would be the thing that broke him out, because she did hit him with a blue lightning and ice. But yeah, I don't know. There's gotta be a reason why it was blue. There's gotta be some reason why it's blue, and I can't wait to find out what it's going to be. But apparently, destroying this artificial Speed Force did something really cool. It released the particles, the multiverse particles with Wellses in them, and where did those particles go? In the only available body of a Harrison Wells, the original one. I can't fucking believe we're actually getting the original Harrison Wells. How fucking cool is that? I mean, that pretty much means that they're probably never going to kill him, because I would assume it would be like a fitting storybook ending to this series to have the original Harrison Wells be the last Harrison Wells on the team. And since we know that The Flash is renewed for season 8, I think, I'm pretty sure it's renewed for season 8. Yeah, it is renewed for season 8. It means that he's probably not gonna die this season, so that's cool, but I did not expect that. And at first, when I watched the episode, in the beginning we had the montage of all the Welleses that died in the previous episode, and I was like, wait, why did they show that? Like, he died last episode. But now that we saw the ending of the episode, it makes so much more sense why they showed the intro, although they kind of meant the intro as a commemoration of the fact that all Welleses died in the previous episode. But yeah, it's gonna be really cool to see what they're going to do with this Wells' character. How similar he's going to be to Harry, or maybe Nash, or I don't know. I'm curious to see what they're going to do, because the only times we've ever seen this version of Wells is in those flashbacks with his wife when they were talking about building Star Labs. So I'm curious to see what his reaction is going to be, what is everybody else's reaction going to be. It's going to be really cool, but I'm assuming that they're probably going to show him in in episode 4 at the very least, because that's when the seasons were supposed to be starting, because these first 3 episodes of this season is what the last season was going to end with, so I don't know. Maybe we're going to see him in episode 3. Anyway, either way, I'm really excited to see, so yeah. Overall, this one was definitely a really cool episode. Like the last one, the first one was really good as well, but this one was just so much more unpredictable and cool and exciting, and I loved it. I loved both of them, but this one I feel like was the cooler episode. So because of that, I'm actually going to give this one a 9.5 out of 10. I really enjoyed these 2 episodes. I can't wait to see what the finale has in store, although I don't really have too high of expectations, because the plot of it, the villain plot of the episode, which is going to be Ava taking over the city, it's kind of generic, so yeah, I don't know. I guess we're going to find out, so yeah. I've really enjoyed these 2 episodes, and if there are things that I can say about other episodes after I watch them, I will do videos for them, but I don't want to promise that I'm going to do it all the time, so don't really expect me to. Unless, obviously, these videos get a lot of views. In that case, I'll probably do a video every week, but it's up to you guys, it's up to you. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Also, check out the description to my Twitter if you want to follow me there, and to my Wattpad, where I post my stories, because in addition to doing all these videos on my channel, I'm also a writer. And if you end up enjoying my stories, or you simply enjoy my videos, you can head over to Patreon, where you can pledge your support and help get the channel going and help support me so I can keep writing the stories you enjoy. But if you don't want to do it, that's completely fine. You can still help me out in other ways, like liking this video, subscribing, and especially sharing this video with somebody who you think might enjoy it. And I think it's pretty much it for this video, so hopefully I'm gonna see you in the next one. Bye!